And we are live. Hi, everybody. My name is Anita. I am one of the um, partners of Class Living. Welcome to Voices of Courage. The reason why I pause is because my house smells wonderful. I'm baking brownies now. So
Oh,
if I seem distracted, please forgive me. Lillian, introduce yourself, darling. Who are you?
well, you're baking brownie.
Yeah, I
Baking.
deserve it.
Wow. Okay. I can smell it already.
Yeah, and
I love brownies.
it is 90% dark chocolate.
Ooh,
Woo! Today we're
I'm
going to talk about
drooling.
dark chocolate. No, today we're going to talk about reflection and takeaway. Come on, Lila.
Okay. Okay. Let's focus.
Stay focused. We didn't wear a scarf
Alright.
or nothing.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Voices of Courage Asia. Yeah, this is our platform. Like what Anita have mentioned, we are partners with at Class Living, which is a social enterprise, and Women of Courage Asia, a community where we serve together, through mentoring, coaching, and a monthly empowerment meeting as well, every last Tuesday of the month. Yeah. And through this platform, particularly this channel, we share strategies, and tools and stories of courage that we have personally experienced or heard, and ladies that are around us who share their life stories of courage, where we are inspired, and then we share all the learning tips, all the takeaways, from all the reflections that we do. So yeah, so here we are sharing our core values, our courage blueprint. Yeah, and wrapping up the series, we always ends with a reflection and takeaway, because I like to quote this saying that we don't just learn from our experiences, we learn from reflecting on our experiences.
Yep.
So that's why in this series, I know we have done, like, now is into our 69th episode. So we have talk a lot about many topics, shared
Yep.
many stories and strategies, and so yeah, and Easter is coming. So I thought, let's do a reflection. And
Yes. In fact,
Anita, do you realize that
today
there
is Maudie Thursday. To
sorry.
everyone, today is Maudie Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So
You're saying.
yeah, I was about to ask you, like, we talk a lot about reflection, but t- from the coaching sessions that I have with many women,
Yeah.
I find that many of them has this challenge of doing a reflection. Yeah, so that's why this episode we want to share 5 questions that you can ask yourself when you are doing your reflection. Actually, there are
Yeah.
a lot of questions that you can ask. I actually have a checklist, a whole list of questions. So I'm going to compile it, into a PDF. I'm going to give it away to you. So yeah, but today we are going to do 5. We're going to share 5 of them,
Okay.
and I hope that would
Before we
jumpstart.
go, right? Before we
Mm,
go, for those who are starting or not very sure about doing reflection,
mm.
what do you reflect on? Do you reflect on the whole day, or do you reflect on one area? What do you? How do you start to make
Good
it
question.
as simple as idiot proof as possible?
Good question there.
I
Um,
know. That was wonderful. So today I got a lot of good questions.
Fantastic. And one of the key thing about a reflection is asking not only good questions, but powerful, challenging questions, that will force you to be brutally honest with yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, very open question. You don't ask, close-ended questions like you get to write a yes or no. That's very close-ended
Ah,
question.
so
You need
never ever ask yes and no answers, right?
Yeah, so don't ask questions that you answer a yes or no, because that's it.
Okay.
You don't go deeper. You want to go deep, right? You want to
Yes.
discover about yourself. So you
Mhm.
want to ask open-ended question. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
open-ended question. So another thing is like just now you mentioned, where do we focus on one thing, or the whole day? That depends on individual, and
Okay.
how long have you been doing journaling and reflections? Because if you are
Okay.
if you just started on this journey, it can be quite overwhelming to us to
Yes.
start with, like, reflecting on the whole day. So I don't encourage that, because
Okay.
that can be very overwhelming for someone new in starting this journey of practicing, cultivating this habit of doing a reflection. So I
Okay.
say always baby step is the key. Yeah,
Okay.
baby steps. Yeah. So
Oh,
focus on
the-
one event, maybe one event.
okay.
Mm.
Okay. What's the first question? Oh, first we got hi. Hi, so highly. Long time.
Hello.
Really?
Good to
Long,
see
long
you.
time. How apa khabar? How are you?
Right.
Well done. Thank you so highly. Okay. What's the first question?
Yeah, before we go to the first question again, just one more thing to take note. You can actually uh reflect on, because the whole point of it is to discover about yourself, right? This whole
Yeah.
courage to be you. So our focus and our direction is very clear, very
Mm.
focused in discovering more about ourselves. So the
Mm-hmm.
question that I'm sharing here are going to help you to discover about yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the direction we are going. I just
Okay.
want to lay the ground framework for this. So one thing you can one question that you can ask yourself is, what happened today? Okay, choose one event. I know it's many things happened today, but what is that one event that happened today that impacted you the most? Right? What is one event that happened today that impacted you the most?
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. So just choose one event. All right.
Okay.
And then you want to, so you got your event, and then you want to zoom in into that.
Yep.
Mm. So remember, I know the temptation, it is uh, the temptation is huge to like want to write down all the events that happen. So again, reminder that you can get overwhelmed, and then you're like, forget it.
Yep.
So start with one, okay? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question you want to ask yourself is, what was my experience with it?
Okay.
Mm,
What was my experience with
your
it?
experience. Okay. Now
Really,
here,
really. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Go
so
on. Go on.
here, because experience is again a very huge
Mm.
word, right? Yeah. So then you want to zoom in into three areas to help you articulate the experience. Okay. Your experience, you can write about how you were thinking. Okay. About your thoughts, right? What were your thought process? What
Mm-hmm.
were you thinking during the event? So now you are zoom into the event already, right? So you
Okay.
think about what happened, um, think about what you were thinking, how you were feeling, right? Ah, and also what were your behaviors during that event? So
Okay.
to make things to break it down into very simple baby steps,
Mm.
just focus on what you were thinking, how you were feeling, and what was your behavior, because it already happened. So you are now just taking a step back to look back, what were your behaviors,
Okay.
right? And I want to the next thing that you can, okay, this is optional, because if you want to go one step further, it's good to do that actually, highly
Okay.
recommend, is then what was the impact of your behaviors, because
Okay.
whatever you think, feel, and do will always create an impact to the people
Yeah.
around in that event, right?
Okay.
It can be, the event could be between 2%, 3%, 4%, right? But what was the
Okay.
impact because of your thinking, feeling, and behaviors,
But
right?
the impact, right? May I ask that impact? Does
Mm.
it really, when you say impact on others, does it really, how do you say, affect? Let's say, for example, if I am a person with very low mastery in that sense, right? Meaning that I tend to be very confrontational. So does that mean the impact may also be very negative? And also going to the other extreme, if I'm the kind of person that's very mellow and as long as everybody is happy, everything is calm, does that mean the impact for me is always consistently very peaceful? Is that
So
you
it
understand what I'm
doesn't,
saying?
yeah, it doesn't matter because right now at this
No.
point, right, you
Yeah.
are taking a step back and looking back at the event that happened, the experience, the feeling, the thinking
Okay.
process, and the behaviors and the impact that has caused to the surrounding people, the people involved in that event. So there's
Okay.
no right or wrong, it's an observation, it's a data for
Ah.
yourself. Right now you
Okay.
are just narrating back what happened,
Okay.
what had happened, you see.
Okay.
So the
So
first
you
question was
don't
what
deep
happened,
dive.
ma?
So you don't deep dive into it yet. You
Yes, the
just
first
taking an
question you
outside view and just seeing the whole thing as a big picture.
yes, it's just like watching a movie. It's
Okay.
like you just take yourself out from the event, and you
Yes.
writing it from from a third person, or yeah, from like watching a
Observing
movie,
it.
what
Okay.
happened. So the first question is
Okay.
what happened, right? And
Okay.
how was that whole experience of it, which includes the thinking, feeling, and your behaviors and the impact.
Of
Okay?
course. Okay.
Yeah. So the first part is just like wow, writing out the whole event, right?
Okay. Okay.
Mm, yeah.
Question two.
Then
Next.
next you want to ask yourself, why did I reacted that way?
Ah, so you did
Now
answer my
you
question.
go deeper.
Now you go deeper. So I jumped the
Yes.
gun. I see. I see. I see.
Mm.
Okay. Why
So
did I react that way?
yes, why did I reacted that way? Okay. And that will help you to discover your intention as well, right?
Ah,
Mm,
okay.
yeah.
So
So you want to be very brutal because if you don't ask this question, right, you
yeah.
will never think about it. So this questions helps you to gain self-awareness.
Okay.
So
So example.
asking question is like an interruption, a disruption into your automatic patterns.
So
Yeah.
it helps, right? Going
Mm,
back again. So if I'm the person that always confrontational, I will interject. I will always want to fight and get my way. Then if I do ask this question, why did I react that way? It really disrupts and go. Okay, my autopilot seems to be a fighter, right? A confrontation.
mm,
So it's a good reflection. So if I'm a reflective person and if I'm a person that believes in personal development and want to do the right thing, then I may actually tell myself, seems like 9 out of 10 times I tend to be very confrontational. Maybe it's a good reflection for me to think the next time should a similar situation happen, maybe I should not behave that way and see what happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
So again, you are jumping the gun.
I know. I shall keep quiet today
Right.
because my house smells wonderful.
Yeah, you're right. You're on the right track.
Yeah,
But
but I'm
before we
going too
go
fast.
there,
Understand?
yeah,
Okay,
before
go
we,
on.
we, we go there, because for a person who just started cultivating this habit, you must understand
Mm,
that these questions are for those who don't have the habit of writing, doing a reflection, and journaling and
okay.
reflection. So we are talking to people who are new in this habit, right? Yeah. So we have to lead them step by step, one step at a time,
Yeah.
to help them to
Okay.
see the first thing first, the bigger picture.
Mm,
Then
yeah.
you go deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah.
Yes.
So and it may not take one reflection to gain their awareness. So they may need to write this for a few days, over
Mm-hmm.
a period of time, and then they will begin to see the pattern that is surfacing, that is happening. Because from one event alone, you may not be able to see the pattern, right?
Mm.
Yeah, just like collecting data, right? We do survey and all that. We need to
Yes.
have numbers, the numbers for us to analyze, right? So same
Yes.
thing here. Yeah,
Okay.
it's more like a
Yes.
qualitative yeah,
Data
statistics,
collection.
data
Yeah.
collection. Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So yes, so after you ask yourself why, here is you've got to be brutally honest with yourself, because this is for your own growth. You know,
Yes.
nobody is going to read your
Yeah.
journal. Yeah, so this is for yourself, to get to know yourself, right? And then asking yourself, what is my intention of doing that? Why did I do that? Why? And the most common response, again, for people that are new in cultivating this habit, they have a challenge answering this question. Most of them get stuck here.
Mm.
Yeah. So be patient with yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
And for those who are not used to thinking, because they're moving so fast, right? Do, feel, and yeah, and rarely think. We have three centers of intelligence, right? So for
Yes.
those of us who are less of a thinker, you know yeah, this can be really, really very, very challenging, right? So
Mm.
be patient, ask yourself, why did I reacted that way? Okay, what was my intention? Okay. So the next question, then you want to ask. So now we just go through the question first, and then after that we can use one case study,
Yeah.
right? One scenario
Okay.
to go through this. Now the next question is, what did I learn about myself from this event?
Okay.
Okay,
What did I
you don't want
learn?
yes. So you don't want to just narrate out everything, describe everything, and then after that you don't learn anything from it. Remember, we learn from reflecting on our experiences. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is where yeah, you draw out, nuggets of the potential in yourself, the strength of in yourself, the blind spots about yourself. Yeah. And you want to be able to articulate that. Take courage to, if it's a strength, if you see the strength in this event, after you narrate
Mm.
out, describe, if you see that those are strength, embrace them. Embrace them. One of the challenges that I come across with women who I coach also is, they don't recognize the strength. They don't see the strength from, all that narration, and all they write down, probably the first time, probably, you know are all negative
Mm.
description, negative words, negative verbs that you are using, negative nouns that you are using, negative not nouns, negative adjectives that you are using. So that is feedback, right?
Yeah.
Feedback for yourself. Yeah. Okay. So why don't we use an example? Do you do
Okay.
using these questions here?
Yeah.
What so okay, the question 5 is not just what did I learn. What did you learn about yourself?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, what do you learn about yourself, from this particular event?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have some comments, is it? um
We have. It's just.
Ali, yeah, she said, I'm in a zombie mode.
Yeah, she's gonna.
Don't get
Poor
much
thing. She
sleep
didn't.
last night. Oh dear.
Yeah, she didn't get much sleep last night. So go and sleep, sweetie. Go and rest. The best way to get good rest is go on a full stomach. For me, after Indian food, right? Wow, I tell you, sleep very nice. So get some rest, okay? Get well soon, okay?
Mm.
Get some rest, and but don't use this time to think and reflect. Okay, please don't. Just go and sleep.
Yeah, another tip is, when do you do the reflection? Of course, you can do it at the end of the day,
Yep.
where the memory is still fresh,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do at the end of the day, and then you can pick one event.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So look, I mean, going through these questions, no, seeing these questions, is there one event that you is very evident or prominent to you recently that you learned something about yourself?
Okay, on the spot. Very nice. Um,
Maybe while
okay.
you're thinking. Okay, good. All right, that was
Yeah,
fast.
I think quite fast. Okay. Okay. Example, right?
Mm,
I think it's quite evident with let's go family. My youngest is I feel is very strong headed. So whenever she gets into the car, she has a very soft heart. She has this desire to share everything, and it can be a little thing. Example, right? She shares about an event of a school friend, and some of the information I felt when she shared was wrong. Example, the laws that's required currently, and the laws pertaining to it. So instead of just listening and then go or asking permission, this is my reflection. So what I did is that I immediately jump in, very autopilot. I jump in. Hey, sorry, the law changed last year, July. The law has been reverted in this particular area. So I think before you blah out, I think you better check your facts first, because you're going to sound very foolish when you repeat this story from a hearsay.
So
What
the
was
so the event was a conversation with
a
your
simple
daughter.
conversation? It's just something
Okay.
happened to a friend of hers, and she's just sharing me with the event, and then it's even a third party friend, a friend of a friend, and then so this friend said, "Oh, my friend, this thing happened to my friend," and then and then that friend narrate to her, and she narrate the same thing to me. And I went, "Oh, I think the
Okay.
information you're getting is wrong,"
Right. Right. So let's go through this question with you, right? So
Yeah.
what was your experience with it? During that conversation, what was your experience in the
Okay.
area of your thinking, feeling, and behavior?
Okay. First of all, the area is it's a boy. So my first question I went is, who is he?
Mm.
Who is he? Is he your
Okay.
friend? What are you
So
doing?
one word of just one sharing here. We don't have to go into the details.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
keep the
But
details to
okay.
yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
share with us, share with the audience. What was your experience? Because the event chosen was the conversation with your daughter, right? Because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
conversation impacted you the most. That event, right? So next, we want to ask, what was your experience with this conversation? In the
Mm-hmm.
area of to help you to answer the experience question,
Okay,
the area of your thinking, your feeling, and your behavior.
okay.
What
So,
happened?
first of all, I think I was quite irritated when
Irritated.
I
Okay.
was irritated, and because of my past experience with her, I felt, in my mind, I go, oh, this is going to escalate to something horrible. We're
Mm,
gonna arguing, and then we're gonna end up, because two very strong-minded person who doesn't. So I had that back thought again. So I was irritated, and I was anticipating something negative. So I was not being positive about this conversation. In fact, I would be more than happy. I was telling myself, Anisha, just keep quiet. It'll be a peaceful 15 minutes drive, and everybody will be very happy.
oh,
Yeah,
so you noticed that was your thought. That
that
was
was
one of
my
your
thought.
thought. Okay,
Yeah,
so you did try to ask yourself to
yeah.
control, have some,
Have
control over
some
here,
have
right?
some self control, and then
Mm-mm.
but I couldn't. I couldn't.
Okay, so your behavior, though that
Yeah,
was the thought process,
yeah. The
and
thought
the
process
feeling
was
was
there.
irritating.
Yeah, I
When you
was
notice your
irritated.
behavior was, you still went
But you
ahead
know what?
and
I went and corrected. The girl gave me
uh-huh.
some information. I went in and I went, this is wrong. That is wrong.
Mm,
And I started teaching, which the girl didn't want. She finished school at 7:30 in the evening. She's
mm,
tired. So she didn't want to be corrected. She just want to hear and listen.
mm,
But I felt that, because again, my thought process is, okay, if you can share this with me, I imagine you're going to share the same information with your other friends, and I don't want you to seem foolish for
mm.
sharing wrong information. So again, the teaching mode came in, right? So I was like,
Okay.
so that was my whole thing.
Right. So you went into so you see while reflecting, You are
Yeah.
able to articulate out what was your thinking process, what were you thinking, and then
Yes.
your emotions, what were you feeling, the frustration and
Irritated.
all that. Now, for our audience, when it comes to this, right? If you don't have the vocabs to describe how you feel, for
Hmm.
example, you say, I just feel angry.
Yeah.
Okay, but angry, there's different degree of
Yes.
intensity, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you feel irritated? Is it frustrated, or is it like enraged or all that? So if you don't have the words to describe your anger, use this scaling
Ah,
model to
yes.
help you. Yeah. So from a 1 to 10, you are angry, but how angry were you? So you
Hmm.
use a scale. So that
Yeah.
would help you to be more aware of the intensity of your emotions.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I hope that
Yeah.
was a good tip for those who
Yeah.
find it challenging to articulate how they feel, because this is common thing that I experience with the women I coach. Okay,
Okay.
so and then you also notice you're able to write out, articulate out what were
Yeah.
your behaviors. Okay,
Yes.
now at this point, did you, because you have done a lot of reflections, for
Yeah.
those who are new, they may not be able to ask themselves this question yet lah, but for you, you'll
Hmm.
be able to, because you're this is your habit already. So do you see that this is a pattern?
Yes. Yes. My house still smells wonderful, and yes, it stinks. That pattern stinks. Okay.
Right. So yeah, so that is an additional question for those of you who
Yes.
have already done, rounds of reflection. Then you can ask yourself, is this a pattern?
It
Right? Is
is.
this a
Only with
pattern?
her. It is. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
bad.
So then the next question is, why did you reacted that way? What was the intention?
The intention was, the information was wrong. It's clear cut information was wrong. It was
Okay,
so
you
wrong. It's,
reacted that way because the information to you the information, you are
yeah,
very sure that the information was wrong. So you reacted
100%
that
wrong.
way.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
So I
why did
reacted
you do
to
that?
the, I
Why?
need to correct her.
Need to correct.
I
Okay.
need to teach her. I need to correct the girl.
Ah. So you see, this is drawing information out from
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Hey, to those out there, don't judge, okay? I love my daughter, okay? I'm just sharing this so that, especially
So we
to parents out there,
mm,
or even to people who deal with children,
mm.
be it your job or anything, these are good questions to ask yourself, okay? Don't judge. I love her to bits. And
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
anyway, go on.
These are very good questions to
Yeah.
discover ourselves. So you know why you reacted that, and then
Mm,
um why you want to do, what was your intention of that. Okay, some
teach.
people. Okay, I mean there are those that come across that uh they have challenge answering this question because it's so automatic. They don't know why. They just it just happened, no. It's just a reaction, no, and they can get stuck there, right?
Yeah.
So very
Yeah.
good that you are giving a very good illustration and a real life example to help our audience to see
Yeah.
how you can answer these questions. You know, yeah. So yeah, so the need to teach them, the need to correct, the need to teach, right? Yeah.
The
So it's that
teacher
that's
came out
like
in me.
yeah, like must make things right, right? The
Yes.
need to make things right or to
Yes,
make things
it was the
better.
information she gave me was as dark and wrong as night. Okay, I need to bring light into the situation.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, um what
The
did you
next.
learn about yourself then? What did you learn about yourself?
Okay. What did I learn about myself? I
Okay,
learned
sorry,
that.
I jumped the
No,
gun.
before you go on, yeah.
I
What did
jumped the gun.
I
No,
do?
so what is the impact to the people around you because of your
Oh,
behavior and all that,
yeah.
right?
It
So
was so bad.
yeah.
It was
So
so
what
bad.
was that impact?
The impact was really sad. I mean, as I said, right?
Mm,
In the end, the poor girl questioned me, said, how come you, whenever we have a conversation, right, always end up in disagreement? But then she compares with her sibling. But how come it number one never happened? Number two is so different. But I used that opportunity to redeem myself. You know, because because I could see, I told from question one, right? I knew when she opened her mouth and the information was just flowingly wrong. I told myself, I need to keep quiet. When after she had shared her whole story, then then I could come in, but I couldn't. Just as I somebody say, "Yeah, just like that, law happen, law." So what impact? So what I did was, so she went on and she continued and she started comparing. That's when the situation to make it lesser, so not to make it so toxic because it can, right? I first of all I explained myself. I didn't apologize. I didn't apologize because
Good,
the
good,
information
good.
is
No,
right.
good observation there. Good
Yeah,
observation that you noticed that you didn't apologize.
I didn't
Okay.
apologize, but I did explain why my
Uh-huh.
reaction to her. And then in the end, she bounced back. She said, "Yeah, how come we can never talk about a topic? And this topic is only about a third party, that without even going into a heated discussion. We don't argue, but a heated discussion." So for me, was that immediately I step back. I go, "Yeah." Then I realized that these are teenagers. Their information are plugged from Instagram or TikTok. How reliable can that be? And that was my narrative the whole time. That's
Mm,
what I was telling them. Her information is from TikTok and Instagram and hearsay. I cannot fault her yet at this very moment. So, and that I keep telling myself. So when I start talking to myself up there, I kept quiet here. And that kept quiet here was what she needed. So she could
mm.
hear herself and going on and on and on about her
So,
dissatisfaction.
so coming back to like, so at the end of the day, what was the impact that of this? Because this conversation uh impacted you most. That's why you
Yes,
chose this
yesterday
because
night.
it's the relationship that you. Am
Yes,
I
it's
right
very
to say that? Yeah,
it
it's
is
because you
important.
cherish this relationship, right? Okay, so um, so what was the impact due to your behavior in
So,
particularly this event? What was the
so
outcome of it? What was the
the
outcome?
outcome in the end was because I told you I had a narrative and tell myself, come on, this girl's information is very unreliable source. Let's not fault her. So the
Mm,
impact was I heard her. I didn't apologize for the
good.
information, but
Mm-hmm,
I heard her and I also explained. She needed an explanation about
mm,
why my reaction to her is so different from her siblings. And
mm,
I used that time to explain um, cause and effect. I used that
mm.
time to explain, when her siblings, when they come and talk to me, I never feel that I'm going to be attacked.
Okay, hold
Yeah,
that thought. Yeah,
hold
so
that
that's for
thought.
the next question. So
Okay,
let's wrap up the question number four.
yeah.
So
In the end, it was great. It
the
was fine.
impact and the outcome was
Yeah.
the impact was that one party was hurt, and then the other party was irritated, or angry and
Mm,
all that, right? But
mm,
the outcome due to your behavior, before, during and after realization. So
yeah.
the end outcome, it ended well, or it
It ended
ended.
well. So let's say
Okay,
if
so the
10 was
outcome was it ended
horrible,
well.
so if let's say 10 was horrible, one
Mm.
was perfect, it ended around a 4.
Mm, okay,
Yeah.
right. So that helps you to have an awareness, right? You gain awareness
Yes.
about what's
Yes.
the degree of the impact, and
Mm,
the outcome. So you can have some form of measurements, like the
yes.
scale is a very good, a simple, the most simplistic
Simple
way
thing. Yeah.
to have some measurements to that, right? An indicator, right?
Yes.
So then lastly, you want to ask yourself, the last question is, so what did I learn about myself from
Oh,
this event? What did you learn about yourself?
listen more, talk less. No, listen more, react less. React less because I have
Okay,
two
why?
years. I have 2 years, so I need to listen double and react. So my problem is I react fast because the need to teach, the need to correct is so much more stronger than the need to listen. So that's my
Mm,
reflection.
right,
Mm.
right. And because of that, because of this need to react, and
Mm, mm, mm,
and
mm, mm.
not listen, I mean, act first before you listen long
Mm.
enough. Yeah, so having that awareness, and then
Yes.
also must add in the awareness that uh, because of this, those were the impact and the outcome. So
Yeah.
if so, the learning for yourself will be, if you take note of these, you could have reduced the frustration.
Yeah.
You can avoid it, a certain
Yeah.
heated argument or things like that, so it
Yeah.
could turn out to be a better, um, pleasant conversation, a happy
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
Even it builds relationship because young people, if you react very fast and negative, they'll never tell you things anymore. And that
Mm,
information she needed to tell me because she felt that it was important, and I
mm,
didn't put value as to how important when she decides to share. And to move forward on this, I had a second chance. I think I had
okay.
a second chance. This morning, we were listening to a podcast, and she's very quick to criticize. I will use the word criticize. And again, the normal autopilot was, but need to correct, but I kept quiet. She said, oh, this person not very good. She had her own opinion. And then again, the information is wrong, correct? The
Mm,
information is wrong and it's not accurate. But all I did was I listened to her, I kept
mm,
quiet. Then all I said was, oh, do you know this particular preacher is actually a mentor to Steve Furtick?
mm,
And Steve Furtick happens to be one of her favorite
mm, mm,
religious speaker, right? A
mm.
pastor, right? So she's like, oh, is it? Oh, then he's not too bad actually.
Right. So when so the thing we want to focus here is that, yeah,
Hmm.
because of that awareness, because of the
Yes,
gain of self awareness, you were able to catch yourself,
very
the
fast.
second time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second conversation turned out to be a better
Yeah,
outcome, right? Yeah,
better
more
outcome.
pleasant
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah.
So you can see from this process, it's just five simple questions,
Mm-hmm.
right? To get you to discover more about yourself. And it's a
Yep,
systematic way of doing a reflection, just a
yep,
guide. Yeah, of course,
yep.
I mentioned earlier in the very beginning, there's thousands of questions that you can ask yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But these five questions are I find it very personally very effective in helping me to
Yes.
draw out, certain information fast enough for myself. Right.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So like my recently, I mean just yesterday, my son was around, right? So we same thing. I think communication is something that is very common in
Yes.
in our lives, right? That we
Yeah.
want to learn and grow and get better with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for our case also, the whole conversation um started on the wrong footing. Everybody was emotional, upset, and all that. But what I learned about myself is when I the past me, right,
Mm.
would be very fast in jumping in to want to correct and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
just like hold my tongue, just hold my tongue, listen, listen, listen. Yeah, and try to listen from give everyone the opportunity to voice out. Yeah,
Mm.
before,
Yeah.
and I ask permission to speak. Can I share my thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a journey for all of us. Yeah,
Yes, it
and of
is.
course the whole event, the whole outcome ended on a positive note. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, this I hope our audience find that this is of value to you, because
Yes.
what our goal is to add value, yeah,
Yes.
in your journey to discover more about yourself.
Yep.
So if you have just joined us, if you have missed out the questions, yeah, just watch the replay. Okay,
Yes.
and I hope these five questions will help you to jumpstart your reflection journey, cultivate
Yes.
this habit, because it really helps to gain awareness and discover a lot of things about yourself that you never know.
Very interesting. It's very interesting when you reflect and talk about it.
Mm,
And moving on, talking about reflection is something we do very often when during our Women of Courage Asia. We're having our monthly empowerment meeting. Not this month, because this month we celebrated our second anniversary in the beginning of the month. So in April, 27 April, I believe, we're going to have Perspective. There are three ladies which are
Perspective Asia. Yeah.
Perspective Asia. There are three ladies who are amazing financial people who are experts. We're going to talk about how's your relationship with your money. So it's a good reflection time. It's a good takeaway. It's good time to think that why am I always broke or why am I always rich? So whichever way you feel, is good for you. And talking about reflection, talking about takeaway. Before we go there, see. Sohaili, looking forward to it. Yes, Sohaili, come and join us.
Right.
We're having
Yeah.
it live, Sohaili. We're having it at Mind Champs, actually.
Mind
So,
Champs, Marina
yeah,
Square.
Marina
Yes.
Square. So join us on the 27th Tuesday. So speaking of that, speaking of reflection, speaking about catching your thoughts, speaking about, asking questions and not spiraling and going autopilot and keep seeing the same repeated pattern, book a clarity call with Lillian. Okay, she will work hard for you. She will ask you difficult
With you,
questions
not for you, with you.
with you, along with you. Okay,
You need to do
she
the
will,
work.
yeah, you need to do the work, but she'll be alongside with you to actually, to actually pick out these behaviors or patterns that you need to change. And speaking of patterns and behavior, Lillian, your baby.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Yeah. We are doing our best in different channels, different opportunities for you to actually participate and engage in all these activities so that you can get started, right? Really get started. All we want to do is just support you to get yourself started. Because and
Yeah,
I know that first step is always the most challenging for so
yeah,
many of us. We personally encounter that. But then once you get started, once you get on board, I guarantee you're gonna see yourself growing. You're gonna see, your strength and your blind spots. Yeah,
yeah,
and you will receive the support here because the Women of
yeah,
Courage community. We are here. This is our whole mission, to provide a loving and supportive community for
yeah.
you, and which is why we all come together to provide this boot camp for women only, by women for women only.
Yes.
The activities are, I'm a kinesthetic learner. I believe in action, doing it. Theory
Yeah.
is good. Yeah, we have all the knowledge. Knowledge is just one touch, at touch of your finger. You can have
Yes.
tons and tons of knowledge, about mindset, about psychology, and all that. So this boot camp is very focused on experiential, right?
Well
The
done.
doing, the application of the content, the knowledge. Of course, we'll share a bit of the knowledge, but the focus is not on that. I don't enjoy lectures. I enjoy the experiential part of it, right? To gain the
Yes.
awareness, the self-awareness for yourself through those experiential activity. So it's
Well
very
done.
powerful.
It is.
If you experience it yourself, you will remember it
Yeah.
for life,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So
So
our boot camp.
70% of it
Yeah.
is experiential
Yep.
activities. Yes.
Excellent. And we have many ladies who have signed up. We are excited to start. It'll be happening on the 16th of April to the 18th of April, staying at Changi Cove, Singapore. So we're excited. I've looked at the program. I mean, I'm in the midst of putting all the lecture notes together, the PowerPoint slides. It looks good. So click on to classliving.com.sg, have a look and have a read and make a decision quick.
Mm.
Okay?
Yes. And also, you notice, yeah, again, different style, right?
Yes,
We
yes,
always try
yes.
to do
We
different
didn't
style
plan this. We
today.
didn't plan this. We didn't plan this.
It's still different, Yeah, it's still different.
Same but different.
Same
Yeah,
but
same
different.
but
Yes.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the scarf, and then of course the book as well, Voices of
yes,
Courage Asia, Voices of
yeah,
Courage, a compilation of 20 over quotes that have helped these women
Yes.
to actually keep on going on, right? Continue to walk that
Amazing.
journey of courage. And then
Amazing.
Women of Courage, Breaking the Fear Barrier. This is, I authored this book with 23 stories of courage, right? Of all the learnings and the reflection and takeaways, right, from these ladies that will help. It's not only just
Wonderful.
inspire you, but actually provide you with those strategies to apply in your life,
Yes.
right? So these are things that we are doing our best to provide for you, the resources and the tools, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the
Yeah. And
decision is yours.
yes, and please know that part of the proceed goes back to the community of women.
Yeah, it
Okay,
goes back
so
to
it goes
supporting and
back.
operating the community.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
on that note, we're gonna have something very special this coming Thursday and Tuesday. I will take my leave for about a month, and we got special women coming on, the speakers of the boot camp. Okay, the trainers and the speakers, they'll be coming on every Tuesday and Thursday, and you're gonna hear from them firsthand as to why they're doing for the boot camp. So you don't want to miss that out.
Yeah.
Okay, you need
Yes.
to be,
Get to
you need to
know
come and
the
listen.
trainers and facilitators
Yeah,
first. Yeah.
get to know them. They're excited and they're ready to answer questions. So on that note, thank you. Goodbye.
Right.
And my
Yeah.
house
I'll
still
see
smells
you
wonderful.
again. Yeah. See
My
you
house
tonight.
smells wonderful.